Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review. So if you don't want to be devoured by sin, go out, watch the film, then come back. You have been warned.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Ticket Tuesday. I am your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Sinners, made by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan. This film is a action horror film, and I will say it was very enjoyable, right? It is not what I expected. The trailers kind of misleaded me in a good way. And overall, it was just a very well-made movie, and it was very entertaining, very fun. But before I go on a whole tangent, why I like this film, I'll tell you why I like this film and more back at the house.
Let me in, man. Some weird shit going on out here.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day he's gonna follow you home.
Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Sinners, written and directed by Ryan Coogler, who you may know for Black Panther and Creed. He only directed those movies. The other movies he was a producer on, but also, famously, this guy just cast Michael B. Jordan in everything, right? So this movie is starring not one, but two Michael B. Jordans, right? They cloned him. They had like a cloning mechanism. They were able to like make two of them. It was amazing technology, really ahead of its time. But also, I'm sorry, by the way, in advance if I'm butchering these names. Lanaj L. Jackson, Miles Caton, Jack O'Connell, and Haley Steinfeld, who you may know as Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Verse movies, or Kate Bishop in Hawkeye. So this movie, while you may not see it from the trailers are a little deceptive, and I like that, right? I barely knew anything about the movie from the trailer, which is good. Don't tell me anything. Right, give me the basics, right? Just give me, like, things that could get me interested in the movie. Don't give me context. Don't give me a summary of what the plot is about. Nothing. Just give me things that are in the movie and that could have connective tissue. Try to trick me in the trailer. I want to be tricked. Maybe don't, like, give me things that could, like, make it seem like a different movie, right? Because then you're getting the wrong audience, and then people may not like it because they don't know what they're going to get. But I think this movie did it really good. So this film is about vampires, right? It's a good old-fashioned period piece. You know, it's a vampire tale, like an old gothic vampire tale, but in 1930s America, right? I think that's a really cool premise. But you couldn't tell from the trailer because it kind of seems like the vampires in the movie are kind of like demons. Maybe it's like Satan type thing, but it's not. It's vampires, which is cool, right? I mean, who doesn't like a good old-fashioned vampire story, right? I mean, I feel like pretty much every horror fan has seen or has at least seen Dracula, right? I mean, maybe there's some versions of Dracula that you like or don't like, but I feel like almost everybody has a preferred vampire story. And I think this one does a really good job, right? I really liked just the whole aesthetic of the film, you know, the whole bluesy feel to it, you know, the kind of... I saw somebody describe this film as, like, Gothic South was the aesthetic, and I'm like, that's a really good way to put it. Gothic South. It sounds kind of weird, but when you watch the movie, it makes sense. You know, it's dark, it's grimy, you know, but it's got that southern tinge to it, you know, with the blues, you know, and just the vibes. You know, it's got those vibes. This movie... Like, I feel like I could just give, like, a bunch of points off vibes alone, because, like, the score is one of the best scores I've heard all year, because, like, it's just badass blues riffs the whole time, right? Which, like, who doesn't like the blues, right? blues is just badass to me. I don't know. Blues is one of my favorite, like, genres of, like, old music, because, like, when you listen to it, it still holds up. Like, a lot of the blues songs that you could listen to, like, that are almost 100 years old, they sound like they could have come out today. Like, they're really fucking good. I really like them. And this movie just does... It's so good. And basically the premise of the movie is that throughout history, there have been people that have played music, right? And they've played it so good that they've summoned spirits. And then there are malevolent, evil spirits that want to take that power. They want to harness it so that they can use it for potentially malicious intent, or maybe not. Right? But basically, their music is so good to where it summons spirits, and evil spirits want to take it. Right? That's great. I'm just saying, if you can play a guitar and sing that well to where you summon ghosts, I think, not ghosts, they're spirits. So maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic with the spirit stuff, because there is a scene where, like, Miles Caton, or Sammy, like, the central character of the plot, he's, like, playing some blues, he's rocking out, and then there's, like, spirits are, like, laden all across the, what is it, like a club, I suppose, laid across the club. Like, there's some old, like, kind of, like, you know, African people playing on drums, and then there's this, like, fucking rocked out 80s dude in, like, a fucking ridiculous vest playing an electric guitar, and it's really cool, right? It's a really cool scene, but then it cuts to where the vampires outside can sense it, right? And then the whole film is about the vampires trying to get Sammy for his ability to summon spirits, right? So what attracts the demons, or the vampires, to Sammy's music, or just the music of these special people? Because, like, it's not just anybody. Not anybody can just pick up a guitar and do it. You have to have a gift, right? So Sammy plays the music so well, that he has this gift, that the music is so well, it can transcend time and reality. It can transcend our mortal plane, right? Because when he's playing it, it's not just, like, you know, anybody. Like, there's people from the present, there's a DJ, there's people rapping, there's a dude with an electric guitar, right? There are a lot of people from different eras in that club. I mean, obviously the people can't see them, but they're there, right? And it's due to the power of his music. It transcends time, right? Beyond our understanding. You can rock out that good. You summon spirits. I love it. I love it. I just love that idea. That you're so good at music that you can summon spirits. That's amazing. I love that. I can't get over it. But, so, they want Sammy, right? But they also want unity, right? The vampires, the main vampire, I mean, I think his name was Ramek, or something like that. He's not even a villain, really. Is he an antagonist? Yeah, he's fucking murdering people and turning them into vampires. But he is not doing it for malicious intent. This is no Nosferatu. Okay, this guy is not pure evil. At least I don't think he is. He, like, maybe it's just bullshit, maybe it is, but I don't think it is. So in the movie, they actually, since, obviously, if you don't know vampire lore, they have to be invited in. They can't just barge in, right? They have, even if, like, you say it as a threat, like, oh, come in here, that's an invitation, right? But they can't just come in. Basic vampire lore. So they have the door open, and they're just talking to him, right? And they're talking to his other vampire, like, brethren, and they're basically saying, you know, we used to be, because he actually, like, bit and infected 2 clan members, and it's explained later in the movie that they were, the only reason they let Michael B. Jordan and his brother, also Michael B. Jordan, buy this, like, barn, was because they were going to go later and kill them. Right? The only reason they wanted to do that is to kill black people, right? So the vampire's like, we were going to save you, right? We didn't want them to do that. And, like, the clan members who got turned into vampires were like, we're saved. We're going to create a new clan of peace and unity and love, right? And are they bullshitting? Maybe, but maybe they're not. Maybe the entire reason the vampire is doing it is not just to connect to his people that, you know, he lost how many other years ago since he got turned into a vampire, but also to unite people. You know, they don't need to hate each other for how they look. You know, they can be unified by blood, literally. Be unified by blood. They're all brothers and sisters now, right? But then they are being turned into vicious vampires that murder people and drink their blood, right? So it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but you can understand where he's coming from, right? He's not doing it out of being evil, right? And I really like that. I like how the villain isn't just some generic evil bad guy. Because, yeah, at the end of the movie, the clan members do come in and try to kill people like the vampire said they would do. I mean, of course, pretty much everybody except Michael B. Jordan is dead, right? But they don't know that. And then Michael B. Jordan just kills all of them. That's one of the best parts of the movie, is when he just mows down all the clan members, right? It's great. I always love it when in movies, like, there's, like, a big scene where they kill a bunch of, like, racists or, like, Nazis and stuff. It's always a great scene. I don't know. It's just a good power trip, I guess, killing bad people. So, obviously, this film being in the 1930s America, Jim Crow era, not great for black people, right? Obviously. But I do like that, as I said before, villain trying to bring them together. Not villain, antagonist trying to bring them together. And I do kind of feel bad for him, you know, because he wasn't, he was hurting people. But, I mean, he didn't kill them. They didn't lose their humanity, because at the end of the movie, it kind of seems like they lose their humanity throughout the movie, because then they're obviously, like, viciously biting into people's throats. But, I mean, they're not mindless zombies. Like, they're still singing and dancing and laughing. And it seems like they're having a great time, right? It seems like they're not resisting it at all, right? Is that them, like, not being them anymore? Maybe, but then, at the end of the movie, they kind of brought in the idea in the middle of the movie that maybe that's not them anymore. Maybe, like, their souls are trapped within their body and they're kind of being controlled by something malevolent. But that's not really true. Maybe they're a little more bloodthirsty, being vampires, but at the end of the movie, obviously, the good Michael B. Jordan, who wasn't turned into a vampire, he saves Sammy, the central character, from Ramek. He stabs a stake through his heart, and then the sun rises and all the vampires burn and turn to ash, right? Classic ending for a vampire story, you know? Almost kill the hero, and then the sun comes up at a very convenient time, and they all burn, right? But it doesn't, because actually Michael B. Jordan was getting into a fight with the vampire Michael B. Jordan, but we never actually see him drive a stake through the vampire Michael B. Jordan, so it leaves it up to interpretation. So at the very end of the film, it reveals Sammy is an old man now. You know, in the 90s, he's an old, like, probably, like, legendary blues singer at this point. You know, he's, like, just touring around bars, and, you know, he's living a pretty good life, right? And then he's, like, sitting in his bar, and then one of his bodyguards is like, hey, some people are here. They want to ask if it's okay to come in. And he's like, yeah, don't mind. I don't mind at all. And then Michael B. Jordan and his girlfriend, who are both turned into vampires, walk in, right? And I thought this was like, oh, no, this is like the classic horror movie ending where, oh, you think you're safe, but you're not. And then he gets fucked over by the vampires. But no, they come in and they talk to him, you know? And they're like, you know, my brother spared me. And he said that he couldn't do it. You know, he couldn't kill his brother. And he said he would let him go if he just let Sammy live his life. You know, he lived a full life, right? So he comes up to him, and not to, like, get revenge or anything. He goes up to him, he's like, hey, we could make you immortal. You know, you could tour for all eternity, right? You could be immortal. You could keep doing this forever. And he's like, nah, I've seen enough of this life. I've seen enough here. So it just kind of proves that they weren't being malicious, and then they just have a conversation, you know, about, you know, where, like, what it's like. They have a nice little conversation, and then they leave, right? They suggest to turn him into a vampire, and they don't actually, like, do it against his will. So they don't lose their humanity. So, like, I was assuming throughout the rest of the film that, like, throughout the whole film that they did, but they don't. So they were just, like, and then I remember there's another part of the film where the other Michael B. Jordan has another love interest, right? And she gets bit, and he kills her. But then they're like, no, why would you do that, right? Because in reality, they're just people still, right? And I like that. I do like the idea of vampires not being evil. I Are they evil in like a nature setting? I don't know. I guess it's complex. It's a complex thing. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I'm sorry about the rambling, but I just really like the concepts of this film. I really liked the vampire thing about it. I didn't know it was going to be a vampire movie, but I'm really glad that it was, because I haven't, like, obviously Nosferatu was really good, but obviously that was an adaptation of an older, really, really old, the original Dracula, pretty much. This movie, I think, did a really good job at being an original vampire story while still taking inspiration from other ones. I mean, as I said, can't go wrong with a good old-fashioned vampire story, and I think, honestly, I would highly recommend this film for horror fans, monster flick fans, vampire fans, honestly. I think most vampire films are better as period pieces anyway. I'm not a huge fan of, like, most modern vampire stories. I feel like they can be done right, but I feel like it has to be under specific circumstances. You gotta have it be gothic. It's gotta be dark, You gotta have atmosphere, darkness. And by darkness, I don't mean, like, have a weird, like, desaturated filter on the screen. I mean gothic. I don't know, I'm just going on. Whatever. Either way, I would recommend this film for monster flick fans and all that. And, with that being said, what would I rate this film? I think I'd rate this film an 8 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So guys, hope you like this video. Share, friends, subscribe, notifications on. Comment down below if you liked it, but you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say was if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, doesn't get to hate in the comments. And I've been Running HD. Off to listen to the blues. So, I was watching this movie, and up until the movie came out, just this weekend, obviously, the film has Michael B. Jordan playing two different characters as, twins. But every time I watched the trailer, I always said it was a missed opportunity to not have the films, on the poster or something, just have starring Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan. Maybe it doesn't fit with the tone of the movie. I just think it's funny. I would have done it. I didn't work on the movie, but I would have done it. If I worked on the movie, I would have done it. It's a missed opportunity, and you know it. Add that to the poster. We need to make a petition.